Today I fucked up by doing anything I want with my friend if I won games of Mario Kart against her. My friend and I would enjoy playing video games together, but on several occasions she would want to up the stakes and make things more interesting. Her proposal was that if she won a game of Mario Kart against me, she could do anything she wanted with me, and if I won, I could do anything I wanted with her. Little did she know how good at Mario Kart I was. The first couple of victories were harmless enough. I'd win the race and I'd say things like, "You've got to talk like Wario for the next race," or "I get to borrow your DVDs," most of which was wildly amusing and diabolical for me to ask of her. But the thing about it is that I kept winning. And being the dope I was, I thought I was on a hot streak, getting all this free stuff from her, and I played it up like I was some kind of pompous court jester gallivanting across the courtyard. Every now and again, she'd put the same offer back on the table, and I'd keep winning, and she would make her frustration known the more she kept losing races in Mario Kart. And it didn't help that I'd brag about my victories within our circle of friends, celebrating with invisible trophies and spraying imaginary champagne. It wouldn't be until we were older and grown apart that she would disclose to me that she was a little upset by the whole thing, because she would practice playing Mario Kart for hours before racing against me in the hopes of winning. And the reason she wanted to win was because she found me to be handsome and didn't know how to initiate this attraction she had. The whole time she was hoping that I would ask for a kiss from her whenever I would win, but me being the dumbass I was, kept asking to borrow her Linkin Park albums and to draw buff kittens with sleeve tattoos. So not only did I miss my shot with my friend, I also broke her heart every time I would clench victory from her on the final lap, performing the miracle last-second overtake maneuver, or cackling like a cartoon villain whenever the spiky blue shell of doom would nuke her dreams. TLDR, my female friend wanted to win a game of Mario Kart against me so she could kiss me, but never won, and I kept winning, and asking for anything except physical intimacy.
Today I fucked up by forgetting that elevators aren't private. For the last 2 fucking years, I've been going into office 3 days a week. Each of those days started with me stepping into an elevator to the 14th floor and ended with me coming off the elevator at the 1st floor. In between, there are countless times where I'd use the elevator for lunch or whatever occasion I need to step out for. Without fail, every time I have ever been in this elevator alone, I'd do some goofy shit because it's my own personal space. Sometimes I'd dance to whatever song is playing in my earbuds. If it's Lil Wayne, I'd do throwing money gestures. If it's Benson Boone, I'd do an air guitar and sing out loud. Imagine the high note of "please" in Beautiful Things. 2 years I've been doing goofy shit like this, including throwing it back and catching myself doing it and laughing out loud saying, "Bruh, I'm actually stupid AF." Today, I walked towards the elevators like usual and found myself alone in it once again. So, I looked at the elevator's mirror and started posing like I'm in a bodybuilding contest. Started yelling out, "Look at you. Yeah, big man on the scene. Pose switch. Another grunt. The muscle. The definition." Then the elevator doors opened, so I gave myself the finger guns in the mirror as I regained my composure before I conducted myself. As I walked into the office, "I know you're already judging. I would never do this in public. But genuinely speaking, these little moments brighten up my day sometimes, because I get to act a fool. I live my day-to-day life pretty restrained, and this is one way for me to ease up the tension a bit. Outside of that elevator, I swear to God, you would never expect this from me. I'm so stuck up at work and know the corporate lingo to a fault. I'm the guy who talks about action items, meeting agendas, and product life cycles. I greet everyone with a good morning and have a wonderful night, including security. Well, today as I left the office, a bit earlier than usual, the security clerk spotted me walking towards the exit from a distance, and I shit you not, he yelled out word for word, "Prah, big man on campus." The way my face flushed, I said, "Pardon me?" He said, "Oh, sorry. I was talking to my colleague." "Oh, have a good night." Gives me finger guns. Bruh, they can fire my ass.
I am never working from office again until he retires at least. TLDR, forgot about elevator cameras and acted like a goofball for 2 years while security was eating popcorn. Today I fucked up by having an itchy butt for 11 months. I had a vasectomy in January of 2024. A few days after the procedure, my butt started itching uncomfortably and unceasingly. At first I thought it was a side effect of the procedure. Maybe I was reacting to the bandages. Maybe it was the non-stop sitting as I recovered. Or maybe I itched because I didn't shower for a few days post-op. But I recovered and got back into my normal routine and the itching continued. I tried everything, short of consulting my doctor. It's embarrassing to tell people your butt itches. I started showering twice daily. I outfitted all of my toilets with bidets. I even tried a few different types of creams and ointments. Nothing worked. I Googled my symptoms and got a variety of results. Some sites suggested I might have hemorrhoids, pinworms, or some other butt-related ailment. One helpful forum simply said, "This happens when you turn 40. Your butt starts itching. You just have to deal with it." I resigned myself to having an itchy butt for the rest of my life. Then over the holidays, 11 months into my affliction, I was scratching my itchy unmentionables and I had a thought. When I had my vasectomy, I followed my doctor's instructions and wore some tight briefs for a few days. Those briefs became part of my laundry cycle, and I wore them regularly. Looking at their tag, they were 20% spandex. Turns out, spandex is a pretty common allergy. I threw out the briefs and the itching stopped within a few days. I'm now itch-free, and I'm never wearing spandex again. I was resigned to the idea that I was going to have an itchy butt for the rest of my life, and now I can live a clear, itch-free life again. TLDR, my butt was itchy for 11 months. Turns out, I'm sensitive to spandex. Today I fucked up by coming into a coconut. This TIFU didn't happen today but quite a few years back. For obvious reasons, I'm using a throwaway account, as my family knows my main Reddit username. Anyway, around 8 years back, I lived in northern Mozambique, a coastal southern African country with quite a warm climate. My mother at the time was going through a health nut phase and only buying foods she deemed healthy enough. One of these was coconuts. She would buy several coconuts a week to use in food from the local market. Anyway, being a teenager, I played with my pencil in regular intervals. Unfortunately, there was some severely stressful examinations coming up for me, and as such, my playing with my pencil reached a higher peak than usual, and I was feeling pretty frustrated. One day I hear that my mother is going to be out for pretty much the entire afternoon. Playful me decides that it would be a fantastic idea to play with a coconut. Honestly, to this day, I can't fathom why I thought that would be a good idea, but my train of thought back then was clearly somewhat clogged. I end up grabbing the coconut drill, and through 20-ish minutes of concerted effort, end up creating a hole large enough for me to stick my porker into. I decide it requires some lube, and grab the nearest slippery thing, some butter, before shoving it into the coconut, followed shortly by my meat. I fuck the coconut, and it actually feels pretty damn good. So I blow my load, shove the coconut under my bed, and continue about my day. For the next week, the coconut is my savior. Whenever I want to get off, I simply take it out and fuck it in its delightfully tight hole, made better each time by accumulating volumes of my semen and butter acting as a lubricant. It's heaven. Now, before I continue, I'd best mention that at the time our area was experiencing quite humid, muggy weather, which exacerbated an already existing fly problem. Disgustingly fat, bloated flies were commonly found around our house, and the exterminators couldn't really do anything, because it was a localized area problem that would go away in the winter. About a week and a bit after the initial coconut fuck,
I had been using it pretty much every day since then. I begin to notice a few more flies than usual, as well as an odd, unpleasant smell about my room. Must be the coconut, right? So I decide that I'll fuck it once more before I throw it out and get a new one. Worst mistake I have ever made. You see, the reason for the increased number of flies was that the coconut was, evidently, in hindsight, a nearly perfect place to lay eggs. As I penetrate the coconut one last time, I begin to feel a strange wriggling sensation. Puzzled, I pull my cock out to discover that it is covered in rotted and moldy butter and semen and teeming with tiny fucking maggots. They were wriggling all over my dickhead, and some were even trying to force their way up into my urethra. I screamed and threw the coconut against the wall, which made the situation worse by spilling the contents. Hours of vigorous cock scrubbing, vomiting, and cleaning the remnants were spent reflecting on what the fuck I was doing with my life. Never again. Never again.
Thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. In the meantime, check out the other ones. They're already waiting for you. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments and tell your own stories. Wishing you a great day, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.